Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I want to start this video off by saying, from the bottom of my heart, for all of you that hung out during the streams from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was just an unbelievable weekend of XDefiant. And I have to admit, if this is just a taste of what it's going to be like when the game officially launches and how the community is going to kind of rile together and have some fun, I am looking forward to it even more than I was before. So I just want to say again, thank you guys so very much. It means the world to me. It was just a crazy weekend. But with that being said, we're going to hop in and I'm going to give my final opinion and my final thoughts on everything that transpired from the beginning to the end for XDefiant for their playtest weekend, for their server playtest, because my first video I made was 12 hours into the first day, and upon that video after that, everything that went on for Saturday and Sunday, well, I had a change of opinion on a lot of stuff because the game kind of changed in a lot of ways for many people. So with that being said, guys, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It means the world to me. We upload almost every single day here on the channel. It's gonna be kind of a, I think, longer video because I'm gonna go into explanation on some stuff, how I feel, my favorite parts, my least favorite parts, and so on and so forth. So let's hop into today's video. So let's real quick kind of explain what the foundation of this weekend was all about, what the main goal was, and it was a server stress test. I think people need to kind of understand that this was not a new gameplay, kind of test a beta, test new features, test to see if the game's better or anything like that. It was mainly for them to go in and test their servers, to really see how these servers operate under maximum capacity. And I think I've said this a lot on stream, and if you heard it, I'm sorry if I'm repeating it again, but I have to say it here. I think a lot of people came in with really high expectations for XDefiant, and not due to delays or anything like that. I think they perceived this as a final version, or at least close to a final version of the game. They were coming in with all these expectations that the game had new mechanics, new modes, new maps, all this stuff, and then upon playing the game, realizing that, hey, this is really similar to what we played in the last playtest almost a year ago. What's this about? Well, it kind of makes sense now when you really think of it. It's just a server test. Our goal here as XDefiant, as the team, as what they were doing, their goal overall was to flood the servers. Our main objective was to flood the servers for them. So that's what we did Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, was just get as many people online at once, playing at the same time, and see what the hell happens to those servers. Also going alongside that expectation thing is, I think a lot of people still look at this game as a Call of Duty killer, the quote-unquote COD killer, and I think that's the worst way to look at XDefiant, because then you put this expectation that you're going to come in and play something similar to Call of Duty, the movement, the gunplay, the animations, and all that. No, it's not going to be the same as Call of Duty. I wish we would have never started this whole COD killer train during Modern Warfare 2. I just wish XDefiant could be its own game, and I said that so many times over the weekend that this is its own game. It's a unique game. I even argued with someone in chat about how they're like, they're chasing COD because it's Mark Rubin wanting to make a COD because they fired him. No. Mark Rubin left to develop his own game. Many developers do this. There is no law that says if you worked for Call of Duty, you are not allowed to make any similar style game the rest of your life, because that would then make it Call of Duty. No, XDefiant is trying to be its own game. It's a unique game. Yes, it has similarities because, well, it's a first-person shooter. They're all going to be the same. So saying XDefiant's like COD is saying XDefiant's like Rainbow Six or Battlefield or any of these other games, and it's not true. They are their own game trying to do something different and something unique. They're trying to bring back an arcadey, fun kind of shooter, and we're going to hop right into that in a second about how I truly feel the game captured everything over the past weekend. If there's one way I was going to put it, XDefiant is fun. It's really fun, and it's one of those things that if you imagine it with a camo grind and weapon leveling and mastering out stuff and leveling up and prestige modes and all the things that made classic games fun, classic multiplayer games fun, like Call of Duty and those, then you can really grasp about how this game feels like a fun arcade game. I can't tell you the amount of fun we had of mindlessly playing, talking with chat, with my friends, playing with viewers, and just sitting there and just relaxing and playing a video game. It has been so long since I've been able to do that. And yes, netcode issues and server stability issues and things like that, all of that, of course, needs to be addressed, but we can't take away the fact that XDefiant really hit the nail on the head of a fun game. It's fun, and that's the point of playing a video game, is to kind of escape from reality and have some fun. So pair that up with a launch and then a good ranked mode, XDefiant as a free-to-play title looks to be a successful recipe, but you have to execute it properly at the right time. And that time is now becoming shorter and shorter because we have other games coming later in the year, and every time XDefiant has any kind of success with a beta, playtest, whatever it might be, the radio silence starts up. So maybe this could be the final time that we get a playtest leading into an actual release, where we find out when this game is going to actually come out. So now the fun part of this, the good, the bad, and the ugly from the playtest over the weekend. And the really, really, really good that I want to start out with is the map design. I am a creative freak. I love the design, the art. I love all that kind of stuff inside of video games. The more unique, the more colorful, the better it probably is for me. And XDefiant hit the nail on the head across the board with almost every single map. There isn't a map in the game that I truly can complain about, which is awesome. And knowing that there are more maps coming at launch is even more exciting, because there's maps I played during NDA that I haven't seen return in a long time. So seeing how those are going to be changed up and stuff is extremely exciting. So the maps, I have to give an A+++ to XDefiant for that one, because man, they just flow so well and they look so good. Another thing that I want to say is really good, and you guys are going to probably argue with me in the comments on this, footstep audio. Once you turned down the announcer volume in this game, the footstep audio, at least for me and almost everyone I played with who use headsets and Go XLRs and whatever it might be, and we just have a good audio, the footsteps sound so well, and they pop way better than any kind of other first-person shooter I've played. Now, you guys might think they were awful because you couldn't hear them or whatever, but I'm telling you, once you turn down that announcer volume, the footstep audio was immaculate, and I think it's something that needs to really be kind of praised, because they did such a great job on that. So moving from like really, really good down to this is pretty decent, thumbs up, good job guys, is the gunplay. The gunplay in the game, that's one thing that first-person shooters need to capture to get everyone's attention, is that the guns must be really fun. And overall, everything I used over the weekend, whether it was balanced or unbalanced, was fun. The guns pop, they have a good umph to them, they pack a punch behind them, and I think they hit the nail on the head again. And I'm excited to see a ton of guns come to this game and see really where we have the amount of weapons, because a mastery camo grind, a weapon camo, or a weapon mastery grind, attachments, all sorts of stuff. I am looking forward to seeing all of that fully at launch. Now, I know we said good, bad, and ugly, but we kind of have like really good, okay, bad, and ugly. And in the okay section, and kind of leaning towards good at times, but also leaning towards bad, I'm going to put the movement system. I think the movement system feels phenomenal. When you can fluidly chain up the movement and keep your momentum going, the movement system feels immaculate. It's something that is extremely fun, but there were times that could have been server-side issues or netcode issues or ping issues where the movement at times felt somewhat clunky, kind of that of like Apex Legends when you first play a game and you feel like you're kind of just like clunk, clunk, clunk running around. It didn't feel the smoothest at times, but then when you had a really good lobby that you were in, you had low ping or whatever it might be, or decent ping at least, the movement when you could chain them up and float in midair and stuff like that felt awesome. And I want people to understand that air strafing in this game, where you were able to change your momentum left to right in midair, that's a feature. That's not a bug. A lot of people kept asking me in my chat if I thought that was a bug. No, that's intended for you to be able to float and kind of maneuver in the air. It's supposed to be a more unique style of movement. And I think that kind of played into XDefiant and why it's so good. And one thing I'm going to say here, guys, we do not need a prone in this game. I think I had 500 chat messages on my live stream over the 3 days of people asking if we should have a prone kind of animation. I don't think we should ever go prone in this game at all. I think just being able to crouch and stand up, and knowing that crouch spamming is getting nerfed already, Big Aches said that on Twitter, that's fine. Like, we don't need a prone ability inside of this game. It just doesn't make sense with this movement system. Another like okay but leaning more towards good for me was sniping. I wanted to put that in its own category because it's unique. The sniping to me felt really, really good. Now, I could understand if you don't snipe and you're getting killed by snipers like crazy and one-shot stuff, you're probably going to hate it. But for me, I loved it. But for a lot of my community, they didn't enjoy that. So for the sake of that, that's going to be the one opinion that's a little skewed, because a lot of people didn't enjoy the sniping as much as you know would want them to because of that one-shot quickscope kind of thing. But for me, loved it. I'd put it in the really good, but just for your guys' sake, dropping it down a tier down to like okay-ish, you know. So now we're teetering on the 50-50 for me, because there were times I would put this in bad and there were times I would put this in good, and then you guys are in the middle as well based off the responses I was getting, and that's the TTK, the time to kill. There were times it felt way too slow. There were times it felt way too fast. So I know that's a netcode side thing, which we're going to talk about the netcode in the ugly. That's one thing that needs to be talked about in there. That's kind of the major thing, but we'll get to that in a second. But the time to kill was just kind of all over the place. Now that obviously changes with weapon balancing and netcode fixing and other stuff like that. But there were moments where a headshot multiplier felt like 2 bullets to kill someone. Then there were moments where a headshot multiplier felt like 37 bullets to kill someone. So I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it, but I'm going to put it towards the bad because I think it needs a little bit of tweaking and just a little bit of updating. Now getting into the meat and potatoes, the point that most people probably really care about, and it is the ugly, the bottom of the barrel, ugly part of this playtest. And I'm not going to put servers in here because I didn't experience any server issues. Some people said they did. I'm not even going to put that in any of the categories because it was the part of the test. But the main outlier left here, the netcode. The netcode kind of networking issue that XDefiant supposedly has been working on for a year plus now. And I don't know. I don't think it's been implemented into the game fully from what we saw over the weekend. I don't think that's the final version of this netcode. I pray it's not. But I also think the netcode kind of clammed together with the server issues and stuff kind of equal this recipe of just blah. But that's where I kind of lean towards, like, the netcode. To me, I've played worse. I've seen worse. I've played games that have felt way worse than XDefiant, and I think there was a lot of dogpiling on with people who enjoyed kind of just promoting hate on the game. And I'm going to say it, a lot of COD fans just wanted to shit on XDefiant because their favorite creator might. And I love how Nadeshot put it. If you guys haven't seen that clip, you guys should try to find it somewhere. It's in my Discord if you're in there. But Nadeshot basically was saying, like, hey, the gaming community is vile. It is toxic. It is just, they hate to have a successful and a fun thing. And Call of Duty's community is just brain rot. I mean, if you're going to sit there and say we should play Rebirth or Shipment 24/7 over XDefiant, you definitely have a screw loose upstairs. If you don't enjoy XDefiant, but you enjoy those things, I don't know what to tell you. There's something wrong up there for you, in my opinion, because sitting there playing Shipment 24/7 versus a game that has a whole bunch of different maps and uniqueness to it, and you think that's bad, I don't know. I agree with Nadeshot on a lot of things. Scumpy made good points that the game was very fun, very fluid, has a lot of potential, and that's kind of how I feel about everything with XDefiant. If the game launched in the next month and still had some netcode issues, it's not game breaking. As long as we have all those other features, new maps, new guns, new weapon grinds, a weapon camo, mastery camos, all sorts of stuff like that. If the game launches like that with a little bit of netcode issues, I'm not going to complain. Number one, because I'm not playing the game competitively, and ranked mode wouldn't even be out until all that's ironed out. So for me, I'm just casually running around grinding stuff, making videos, having fun with my friends. So a netcode problem doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me, at least. I also think I have a little bit of bias in this situation when it comes to XDefiant. I played this game in NDA from the ground up when it was Tom Clancy's XDefiant, when it was originally a Tom Clancy game all the way back in like 2019 with my friends. I still remember it to this day, so I think I'm a little biased because I saw the game in the worst state it's ever been all the way up till now, when the game is in what's its probably best state so far, leading into what it's inevitably going to be a launch. So I feel like I have a little bit bias there, and I know the question everyone's going to have: when is the release date? What do I think the release date's going to be? Well, I saved the best for last because in a perfect world, releasing it in May at some point would make a lot of sense, especially coming right off of a playtest at the end of April, so shooting for like the middle of May to end of May. But if I had to put money on it, I think the beginning of June is the month to look forward to. I think June is just a good month for it. They have all of May to fix everything, to market, to promote, and get ready for it, and then give that launch a launch date early June. I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. So I don't know. They said summer in an article, and I don't know if they're going by calendar year of summer, or I don't know. To me, like, May is summer once you hit May. I don't know. June is definitely summer. So we'll see. We'll find out soon enough how the playtest went for them. And the last thing I will say, it's a really, really good sign that the playtest got extended when it did on Sunday, because that means on the back end for them, there weren't a lot of issues going on for them that were game breaking or at least delaying a game. You know what I mean? Like, it was, if the test got extended, and it's not just because of Nadeshot, if the test got extended, that's a good sign for the XDefiant fans. So Long video, rambling video. I appreciate anyone who hung out to the end. If you made it to the end, put me in the comment section. Put your favorite ice cream flavor. Put it down there, and people are gonna wonder why there's ice cream in the comment section. You guys are gonna know why, because you made it to the end of the video. But love you guys to death. Appreciate all love and support here recently on the channel. It's actually been insane how crazy this weekend was on the channel and how crazy it's about to get with XDefiant and so much more. So love you guys to death. Appreciate all love and support. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, boys, peace.